Welcome to today's awesome assembly, where we'll be having some pleasure with some Play-Doh, and I'll show you how to make it. And this is me in my kitchen at home, showing you how to make Play-Doh out of some simple ingredients. So that's the end of this video. And here are the ingredients that you need and simple instructions to follow. But first, let's just think about what it says in the book of Genesis, which is all about the creation. It says this: in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Have you ever started off with a lovely blank piece of paper, or a lovely blank piece of Play-Doh or clay, and you thought, what shall I do with this? What shall I create? What shall I mould? What shall I draw? What shall I paint? Well, I guess God was a bit like that with the world when he made it. He said, let's have light, let's make animals, let's make a landscape, let's fling stars into space, let's have fun in creating. And for 6 days he created, and then on the 7th day he had a rest. Maybe during this lockdown we have time to think about how we can be creative. One of the ways you can have lots of creative fun is just with some scrap paper like I've got here and a pen, and just draw maybe a couple of random lines, maybe a squiggle like that, and then say to yourself, can I see a picture in this into like a ladder like that?
And I think I'm going to turn this into a snake.
Turn this picture into a picture of snakes and ladders. Let's have another go, shall we? So there's a squiggle, there's a straight line. Now let's see if we can draw that into something really interesting.
Yeah, so I'm going to draw that around there like that. And I think that's going to be a hat that someone's wearing. And then round here, we'll do a couple of eyes. We've got a big chin here. Here, maybe some curly hair around here.
What do you think? Is that a funny face? I'm currently in our art room where we do all sorts of different creative things. Some children in our school have been looking at Myra's garden and doing some similar paintings in the same style. You need to have bold outlines and geometric and organic shapes and primary colours. Could you do a painting like this? Do you remember my awesome assembly called Clay Mayhem, where I showed you how to make a clay hedgehog? Well, one young lad, he has mixed lots of coloured plasticine together to make some brown plasticine and made this brilliant hedgehog. Now, Mr. Badger loves that picture of a hedgehog, so well done. In our small hall, we have some industrial looking artwork that we made when we had an extension. And you could do the same by cutting up strips of recycled paper to make it like this. Now, we don't just have to have creativity through our artwork, but through our writing too. And I've got a poem here that one of my members of staff has written, and I thought I would read it to you because it's all about remembering and helping people. But she's used her creativity to write a lovely poem. Remember, some people are at home all alone, so give them a call, have a chat on the phone. Write them a letter just once in a while. It might cheer them up and help them to smile. Don't forget these poor folk who must not go out. When you go shopping, please give them a shout. Offer to buy their milk or their tea. Then when you deliver, they'll be grateful, you'll see. We all need each other at times such as these. especially the lonely. So remember them, please. So well done, Mrs. Harrison, for a lovely creative poem. And here's another poem that some children are reading for you.
Hello everybody, we just wanted to read you a little funny poem from Please Mrs. Butler. It's called Old Joke. Look at your hands, the teacher cried. Couldn't be dirtier if you tried. What would you say if mine were like this?
We will be too polite to mention it, miss.
Bye everybody, we hopefully see you soon.
Mr. Badger, what are you doing with the school photocopier? Don't go in there. It'll hurt your eyes. Uh-oh, it's too late. He's being photocopied. Badger, you've wasted all that paper, look. Badger, you shouldn't have wasted all that paper. That's not very good. We need to look after our resources. Oops. Oh dear, I've wasted it as well. So let's make some Play-Doh. You need 1 cup of plain flour. So I've got some flour and I'm going to tip it in to have 1 cup of plain flour. We also need ½ a cup of salt. So here we are. Let's pour in ½ a cup of salt. It's actually quite a lot of salt, really. Give it a good shake. ½ a cup of salt. And I've got a cup of water already. Come on, Mr. Badger. You're going to get in the way there. Come over here. That's it. Can you see his hat? He loves his chef's hat. Now, in my saucepan, I'm going to add my flour, my ½ a cup of salt, and my water. I also need to have a spoon of oil. 1 spoon of oil. Put it in, and I'm now going to give it a bit of a mix. But what colour shall I make it? Shall I make it blue, red, green, or peppermint? That's not a colour, is it, Mr. Badger? Yeah, but it'll smell really nice. So, let's put a few drops of peppermint in. And let's make it green. So here we are. A drop of green. Give it a mix, and what we're going to do is we're going to cook it to make this Play-Doh. Look at that. So now I'm going to cook it on the hob, and Mr. Badger can tell me when it's ready. It's a lovely green colour, so hopefully it's going to get thicker. I'm going to cook it slowly until it forms a ball. And it's beginning to thicken up a little bit. Is it ready yet, Mr. Badger? Mr. Badger's still watching, isn't he? Now you must get a grown-up to help you do this. It's getting really hot. Oh, getting quite sticky now. Quite stiff. Oh, look at that, it's beginning to get into a ball. Yes, it's coming away from the side. It's not sticking to the side now, it's beginning to form into a ball. Look at that. That's amazing. I've got a ball of Play-Doh. What do you think, Mr. Badger? Is that good? Now, put some water in here straight away. when it's cool enough, then you need to knead it for 4 minutes. Here's the fun bit. It smells really nice. It smells of peppermint. If I wanted it a little bit greener, I could always add a bit more food colouring in, but I quite like this colour. Now, you might not have any clay, but now you've got some Play-Doh. So let's roll it into a ball, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did when I was making some clay. I'm going to make a thumb pot. I'm just squeezing my thumbs gently in like this to make a really good pot, and then I could decorate it like I did with the clay. Also, I could take a nice piece here and I'm going to roll it into a nice flat shape like that, and with a cookie cutter I'm going to cut out a couple of lovely cookies. Look at that, 2 lovely cookies. And also I could make a hedgehog like I did before. Roll it into a ball, squish it into a plum shape, make some 2 eyes, and then cut some nice bristly bits at the back. And now I can make a nice hedgehog with a nice little nose on the front like that. Have fun! Creativity. The heavens tell the glory of God, and the skies announce what his hands have made. Psalm 19 verse 1. So I hope you can have lots of fun making Play-Doh and making some wonderful 3D models of people, of animals, of all sorts of things that you can make. So try and send me some pictures maybe of the creations that you've made using some homemade Play-Doh, and have great fun doing it. So let's just have a prayer about being creative. Thank you, Lord, Creator, that you created the universe, you created the world, that you created us. Thank you that we too can be creative. Help us during these times of lockdown to be really creative in all that we do. Help us to use the little that we have to make wonderful pictures, drawings, poems, wonderful work. We pray, Lord, that you would help us to look after this world that we find ourselves in, to use our resources wisely that you have given us. Amen. Here is the Play-Doh recipe again, in case you, with an adult, want to make your own Play-Doh.